The Bible tells us to acknowledge God in all our ways, not just before we eat, but in everything. He made the universe, and He made the atom. There's no detail too small to concern Him. We don't have to pray in the King James Version, like Shakespeare authored it. You can if you want to, but Jesus said, this is your Father you're dealing with. When I talk to my dad, I don't say, greetings, thy senior pastor of Lakewood Church. I request an audience with thee. No, he would think that was odd. When I talk to my dad, I just talk to him. In the same way, prayer is just talking to God. He wants to hear the details. He wants to be involved in your life. You can ask questions. You can express concerns. You can tell Him what you're grateful for or what you need help with. When you go to your Father, He'll give you wisdom. He'll give you good ideas. He'll give you direction. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to pray a perfect prayer. Like Jesus said, this is your Father you're talking to. He already knows what you need. He just wants to hear from you. There are times we feel like we have to convince God to love us. We have to win Him to our side. We think, maybe if I come to church enough, or if I do more good deeds, then I'll get some credit with Him. The biggest lie that some of us believe is not that God's angry with us, it's that He's indifferent. Thoughts will tell us if we perform better, then we'll get His approval. Then He'll show us favor. But when Jesus was baptized in the Jordan River, the moment He came out of the water, a voice boomed out of the heavens and said, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. What's interesting is up to this point, Jesus hadn't performed a single miracle. He hadn't opened any blind eyes, healed any lepers, raised Lazarus from the dead. He hadn't even turned water to wine. Yet His Father said, he's my Son, and I'm a proud dad. Jesus didn't win God's approval based on His performance. His Father was pleased with Him because of who He was, not what He had done. We tell ourselves, if I could be more disciplined, if I was more generous, if I only made better choices, then God would be proud. No, the truth is, God is well pleased with you just as you are. You're His beloved son or daughter. There is nothing you could do to make Him love you anymore. He might not agree with all your behavior, but He is pleased with who you are. He's already approved you. He's already called you His masterpiece. Why don't you accept right now that God loves you and He's for you based on who He is, not your performance? But thoughts may say, God can't love you like He loves Jesus. He never made any mistakes. You're not like Him. You know what you've done. Don't listen to those voices. If there's nothing you could do to make God love you anymore, then the good news is there's nothing you could do to make Him love you any less. When your Father looks at you, He sees Jesus. He sees someone redeemed, forgiven, transformed by the power of the cross. He doesn't see mistakes, and He doesn't see failure. Jesus said, just as the Father is pleased with me, so have I loved you. Are we living for God's approval, or are we living from it? Are we striving to earn His love, or do we recognize we've been given more than we could ever deserve?